Botswana's new president Duma Boko assumed office after his party's shock victory in last week's elections. In another beautiful display of democracy, he was joined by former President Masisi in an official handover ceremony to complete Botswana's smooth and peaceful transition.
We prepared for the handover comprehensively. It will be led by the Permanent Secretary of the President. I think at a time convenient to you and the rest of your team, once you make your appointments of the Vice President and your ministers and your PSs, you will provide that briefing. I don't need to remind you of the powers you have. You're a lawyer by profession. You know them extensively. These serve at your service, at your pleasure rather. And so it would be up to you to retain or not retain. And if you chose not to retain, there are obligations that would have to be met. But it's really out of a discussion that you will have with each and every one of them. They too are well aware of that. It's a mutual relationship that should ensue from that. From my side, we've had some discussion. We've agreed to continue, but I have a pack here of the instruments that you would need for power, Your Excellency. It's a gago more. Thank you. Thank you very much. Am I expected to say anything? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Your Excellency. I was a little surprised they were not referring to you as Your Excellency. When I said they must call me Mr. President, I didn't mean you must take away from others His Excellency. And we give him a lot of respect and a lot of admiration. Thank you very much. I'm humbled to sit here with you, accepting this most lofty and honorable responsibility. I accept it with humility. I accept it with some trepidation, knowing that it's a very, very big assignment. The expectations are daunting. And sometimes you wonder whether when you told yourself you were up to the task, you had done a good enough assessment of yourself and of the environment in which you will step. But one is here now, having been given this responsibility. At instances, we will muddle through as intelligently as we possibly can, without pretending we know or we are in any way fully in control of situations. We will muddle through intelligently. We will with each other. We will play open cards with each other, because that's the way we can do it. But the most important aspect of what is happening today is the maturation, if you will. Our democracy has demonstrated today, more than it ever has before, that this is a mature democracy. The maturity of democracy is measured, we know, from this very occurrence. Can power move from one regime to another regime peacefully, without any drama, without any unpleasantness? And it has happened today. Botswana has demonstrated to the whole world that the accolades that we've enjoyed as a shining example of democracy
were more than well deserved. I engaged with the president here, former president, over the last few days. First, during the counting process, before the results were declared or were even clear, he reached out to me and congratulated me and indicated to me that the process is still underway. I remain hopeful that we will bounce back, but congratulations, you're doing very well. And towards the end, before it was concluded, him and I spoke again. Called me and he said, let me inform you that I will concede. We're still waiting, but once the magic number is reached, let me give you my assurance that I will concede. And so there was never any doubt, never any apprehension of a somersault. It was always clear, and it was more than comforting to know that this democracy has now stood the test of time. It has established itself. And true to his undertaking, he did publicly and solemnly make the concession. I was more than humbled by that. If I had respect, and I did, for the former president, my respect for him at that time reached the stratosphere. I now can say, and say confidently, I have the greatest respect and admiration for a person who in those circumstances still has the courage and the conviction to accept, and the magnanimity to reach out, and the sincerity to communicate a very solemn undertaking. That's the most humbling. And we are much in his debt. We are indebted to him eternally. And I think at this point I would kindly request that we give him a round of applause. We may not appreciate the seriousness, the enormity, and the profundity of what he has done. In other countries, these things don't happen. We would be embroiled in conflict, civil strife, because an incumbent refuses to accept an outcome. Not in Botswana, not with this former president. And for that, we are eternally grateful. I accept this responsibility. I accept it, as I say, humbly. I've said publicly. I want to say it again to you. I'm frail, I'm fallible, sometimes broken and fissured, needing some healing, needing some help, sometimes needing a hug. And if you can offer that, that would be most welcome. But we also have a serious and very daunting responsibility ahead of us. We're going to work together. In the process, we might offend each other. And let me tell you something about me. When I come to you, because I think or I'm told, rightly or wrongly, that you've done something wrong, you need to watch. If I come to you agitated, angry, and I threaten, or I tell you you're fired, when we part, go home and celebrate and say that this man is not going to fire me. When I'm in that state of mind, if I ever get, I never take any action. So when I'm angry and you feel freaked out and you say he will do something drastic, that's the time that I'm at my most harmless. I want you to know that today, so that you don't, when we raise voices at each other, sometimes as we may, I hope we don't, feel threatened or scared. I want you to relax when you do your job, to apply yourself, do the very best. We're going to operate on merit. Merit doesn't care whether you are my friend or you are not. Merit doesn't care whether you like me or I like you. Merit doesn't care whether we've said nasty things about each other. Merit is merit. And let merit speak for each and every one of us. And let us do the very best for our country as its most decorated, trained, experienced professionals. I'm very happy to accept this role. I'm grateful to you, Your Excellency. You've demonstrated a level of democratic passion and commitment that is unrivaled, certainly on the African continent, but even across the breadth and dimensions of the world.
President Boko also announced economist Ndaba Gaolathe as his choice for deputy, a decision which still has to be ratified by a new parliament.
Let me, as I conclude, seize this moment to just introduce Mr. Ndaba Gaolathe. Not I don't know whether it's the same thing though, but Ndaba Gaolathe is the Vice President designate. We will go through the formalities of confirming that, and we appreciate him. He also has that calming effect on the other guy who sometimes can be erratic, that guy being me. So he is the calming influence. But there's a time I saw him at his most agitated, and I said, oh, he can get agitated. I never thought he could. But those moments are seldom, if they do come at all. I only saw that once. And even then, he wasn't dramatic about it, but I could tell he was putting his foot down. And for that, I appreciate him. I appreciate all of you, folks. I know we meet each other. We have certain impressions of each other. You have been told whatever you've been told. You had your own ideas. This is the time to check and cross-check whether what you've told yourself about me, about him, is actually true. I don't know what you told yourself. You'll tell me at some point, and you'll also tell me whether you've been vindicated or you've found yourself amazed at how wrong you were. So thank you very much, senior members of the public service of the Republic of Botswana. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your stewardship over the last 6.5 years. And we're certainly going to miss you. But I hope when I do swing by the Sau Ward, which is not very far from Mohau, you and I will bump into each other, and when we do, we shall smile, and we shall, I don't know what you like, you'll find out. We'll have whatever cuisine of your liking. So thank you very much. I'm pleased, I'm very happy, I'm humbled. Our democracy has proved itself. Thank you.